I love, I love, I love, I love. Sun rays like a satellite, energies bring me back to life. Catch me chilling with the halo, universal flow, I belong here. Keep that focus on that starlight, God of my universe, part of my mission, righteous the Almighty. Raw splitting the sea into that clear sight. Go far intuition, lifting up that soul right. I love, I love, I love, I love. Elevate my love, generate my touch. Everything I see coming to me.
I can be honest with my people. And when I'm honest with my people best know how to serve me. It's no different than being spiritual and talking to God and your spirits in prayer. When I'm real with myself and real with the spirit best knows how to aid me. You understand? And so we have to think about these things. So before we get into the juices of meeting our twin flames and all that good stuff, what is a twin flame to you?
It's your mirrored soul. It's your divine partner. It's literally you, just in another body. And when I say it's the balance of the masculine and the feminine, it can be two men together, it could be two women together. It's just who carries what more dominant energy. It's the combination or the representation of holy love. It's love with a purpose, because your twin flame is someone you are agreed to incarnate with in this dimension to perform a particular task, to raise the vibrations of earth, to
generate my touch. Everything I see coming to me, I'm knowing. Fruits that I bear from the sowing. I just put in work to the morning, to the three bird that we heard. Stepping through the light, that's a rebirth. Giving thanks to life and the ether. I can never fall when I'm free word. Free bird, free word, free bird, free word, free bird. I'm Elo, I'm Elo, I'm Elo, I'm Elo. Sun rays like a satellite, energies bring me back to life. Catch me. I love, I love, I love, I love. Sun rays like a satellite, energies bring me back to life. Catch me chilling with the halo, universal flow, I belong here. Keep that focus on that starlight, God of my universe, part of my mission, righteous the Almighty. Raw splitting the sea into that clear sight. Go far intuition, lifting up that soul right. I love, I love, I love, I love. Elevate my love, generate my touch. Everything I see coming to me,
I can be honest with my people. And when I'm honest with my people best know how to serve me. It's no different than being spiritual and talking to God and your spirits in prayer. When I'm real with myself and real with the spirit best knows how to aid me. You understand? And so we have to think about these things. So before we get into the juices of meeting our twin flames and all that good stuff, what is a twin flame to you?
It's your mirrored soul. It's your divine partner. It's literally you, just in another body. And when I say it's the balance of the masculine and the feminine, it can be two men together, it could be two women together. It's just who carries what more dominant energy. It's the combination or the representation of holy love. It's love with a purpose, because your twin flame is someone you are agreed to incarnate with in this in this dimension to perform a particular task, to raise the vibrations of earth, to
generate my touch. Everything I see coming to me, I'm knowing. Fruits that I bear from the sowing. I just put in work to the morning, to the three bird that we heard. Stepping through the light, that's a rebirth. Giving thanks to life and the ether. I can never fall when I'm free word. Free bird, free word, free bird, free word, free bird. Elo, Elo, Elo. Sun rays like a satellite. Energies bring me back to life. Catch me. I love sun rays like a satellite. Energies bring me back to life. Catch me chilling with the halo. Universal flow, I belong here. Keep that focus on that starlight. God of my universe, part of my mission, righteous the all might. Raw splitting the sea into that clear sight. Go far into vision, lifting up that soul right. I love, I love, I love, I love. Elevate my love, generate my touch. Everything I see coming to me,
I can be honest with my people. And when I'm honest with my people best know how to serve me. It's no different than being spiritual and talking to God and your spirits in prayer. When I'm real with myself and real with the spirit best knows how to aid me. You understand? And so we have to think about these things.
So before we get into the juices of meeting our twin flames and all that good stuff, what is a twin flame to you?
it's your mirrored soul, it's your divine partner, it's literally you just in another body. And when I say it's the balance of the masculine and the feminine, it can be two men together, it could be two women together. It's just who carries what more dominant energy. It's the combination or the representation of holy love. It's love with a purpose, because your twin flame is someone you are agreed to incarnate with in this dimension to perform a particular task, to raise the vibrations of earth, to
generate my touch. Everything I see coming to me, I'm knowing. Fruits that I bear from the sowing. I just put in work to the morning, to the three bird that we heard. Stepping through the light, that's a rebirth. Giving thanks to life and the ether. I can never fall when I'm free word, free bird, free word, free bird, free word, free bird. Elo, Elo, Elo. Sun rays like a satellite. Energies bring me back to life. Catch me.
Okay, beautiful people. Good night, good night, good night. Oh wait, let me fix this view. How you guys doing? How you guys doing? Happy New Year. I pray that your new year is starting well. Oh, that's very wide. There we go. We're gonna do this. I pray that your new year is starting very well, and that it's coming in easy, no stress, all that good stuff. I spent the day cooking. I cooked a big meal from scratch, as I typically do, but it takes time and preparation. And then I had to order some stuff from the grocery because I didn't go feel like driving to the grocery or any of that. So it was a nice little evening in the kitchen, midday to evening in the kitchen. But I've been looking forward to tonight. First of all, before we get into it, Can you all hear me? Good night, Queen. Can you all hear me well? I want to make sure you can hear me. I'm going to get a bottle of water just now. My co hosts, plural co hosts, Rain and Fallon, as you see, she's coming in just now. They're joining me shortly. As always, it's this I cannot wait. Let me just say this. I cannot wait to hear what is going on in the stars because it's been interesting. It's been very interesting. Both uh in a very neutral way. It's been interesting. It's been quite interesting. And so I'm very curious because let me say, yes, I do astrology readings. I pull cards and ask for the spirit to give me insight for the different zodiacs. However, I am not an astrologist. That is not my forte. And I don't take the time to dive deep into that. Everyone has their specialty. And those of you that know me, um, know that I have my specialties. And I build and cultivate that. And when the universe permits me to dive deep into something else, I will do that. But for right now, I'm very grateful for my sisters that are coming on tonight because they are two individuals that take time to cultivate their craft. They take time to dive deep into astrology, to understand the impact that it has on us. And so I'm very grateful for them because I can call a sister and say, yo, what's going on? And I also can let someone edify me and teach me something because, again, I don't know it all. And it's always great to have a strong community that you could build with. And so, as always, I want to give thanks and honor to the Most High God for allowing us to have this time and this space to share together. I give thanks to the ancestors for wisdom, for love, for peace, for protection, and guiding us on our path as we continue to navigate through this universe, through this earthly plane, to this thing called life. You know, I give thanks to this divine spirit that keeps us from the seen and the unseen, and that guides us so that we can be our best selves. In this time, in this evening, I pray that something is shared with you all, including myself, that will give us some understanding as to what is happening, give us some clarity as to how to navigate this time that we're in. So I'm looking forward to that. And so if you guys just bear with my sisters as they get themselves together. Rain is coming, Avi is coming, Fallon is coming. But just to give you guys an update. Actually, I think I can pull it up. Let me try a thing. Um, I have a ceremony coming up, and so I've been very busy getting ready for that and consecrating myself for that and praying and fasting and isolating myself to be in a space to receive from the divine and have some clarity on my path and how I'm supposed to navigate and the things next that are to come forth in my life, and how to be prepared for that. And no, God does not give you all of the answers in the sense of, going to tell you everything that's happening. But I do believe that when you set yourself aside and you go into a space of prayer to gain clarity, that, the clarity that you need will be provided. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to this growth. I'm looking forward to this space of evolution that I'm in because it's definitely um, transformative, transformative, and it is also very much so fortifying the element of healing because you start to see certain parts of yourself. You start to see things that you need to evolve in. You start to see shifts that you need to go through. You start to see parts of self that you need to work on because we're not perfect beings by any means. However, when you strive to be better, there will be parts of you that may rise up that need to be challenged for your betterment. Some parts of you that you realize, okay, I need to work on this. No, I have not healed from this. No, I need to be a little bit more mindful and a little bit more aware of my doings and my handlings, so that I could, get to the next level and do what needs to be done and evolve, because evolution is the key. If you're not growing, if you're not changing, if you're not stepping up, what is it for? If you're not causing positive impact to manifest around you and in you, what are we doing it for? And so I've been in a deep space of retrospection. I've been in a deep space of reflection, um, and firmly applying and standing predominant. Let me say that, standing predominant on certain things that I need to be firm about, and embracing that with the wholeness. My sister Omni Sade is here. Omni Sade, how are you,
Hi.
my darling?
Hello. Peace and
How you
love.
feeling? Oh wow, we're both in the blue energy. I love it.
Yeah, and something told me because I was meditating, like, what color should I wear? And I was
Yes,
like,
me too.
I'm in a self-expression space, and I wanted to make sure that I was prepared to use my throat chakra properly. So I wear
Yes.
blue. And we just
Yes.
got out of a Cancer full moon, so I'm all about that water yamaja energy right now.
Yes, so okay. Well, spirit is in alignment, and I love that. Divine connection. You guys see this is not planned. We didn't talk about what we're putting on,
Yeah,
and so that's that. But I was just sharing with the people like the space that I've been in, and so I'm sure the stars is going to confirm that. But I was sharing that, I've been in a deep space of reflection and retrospection, and realizing parts of stuff that one still needs to be worked on and refined, but also truly truly detaching from some things that I need to detach from. Whether that's relationships, whether that's certain habits, whatever that may be, and standing predominant in that,
I
you
say.
know, even with, addressing certain dynamics in family ties or in friendships, quote unquote, dynamics that need to be addressed, and not being apologetic about it.
Mm, yes,
Hmm.
indeed.
Yeah. And so I'm very excited to hear what's being said. I know I'm not the only person that's been feeling and processing in that space. And it's interesting because, as you've been mentioned, the energy of Cancer and that water vibration, I definitely know um, matters of the heart, matters of the mind, emotions, and deep spaces have
Yeah,
been a thing. I know that's been a thing, and so I'm very interested to see what you have to say. Let me check in with Rain. In the meantime, give the people some love. As you guys, Omi Sade, my
yes,
sister,
indeed.
is here. You guys already are familiar with her. You're no stranger, and so give the people some water. Happy New Year, first of all. Happy New
Happy
Year.
2025, y'all.
Yeah. Happy New Year. We've made it over and we have a lot more to do, So, yes, Omi Sade, you have it.
Peace and love, y'all. It's an honor, it's a pleasure to be here to talk about what I love, which is astrology. There's so many different divination tools. There's so many different things that we can use to connect with the collective consciousness.
Yes.
And also to connect with yourself and better understand what I like to call your birth story. I used to be like, oh, this is a birth chart reading. This is um, you know, this is this is more so of like understanding your birth story. Um, from an astrological standpoint, there's so many different, readings you can get, depending on the culture you dive into, depending on where you are in life, what you're studying, and astrology just happened to be something that I love to do, as you guys know. Um, and we just got off a full moon in Cancer. In certain spaces, the moon is still in Cancer, depending on where you are. The moon is in Leo. This is also time sensitive and space sensitive, depending on where you are. Because I know we are also talking to people in New York, and we're also talking to people in Georgia, and so for those who are watching and they're not in Chicago, they're Eastern Standard Time or Central Standard Time, whatever that looks like. Um, so this full moon in Cancer, and just to go inward, and what this energy has done for me personally, um, it has reminded me, because Cancer energy is connected to nostalgia. It's also connected to the mother energy. It's connected to the moon. Cancer is ruled by the moon. So with it being illuminated in this space, it's in its home space. So what I've been reflecting on in this full moon is, what do I need to release in my home, and not even just in my physical home where I pay bills and where I lay my head and pay for food, but the physical home, which is my first home, which is my body, where my soul resides. And so I've been taking time and taking space to, nourish myself and give myself the space for recovery, because a lot of us are healing from so much, and the people around me are healing from so much, and things can get a little murky and emotional, and it can be clouded emotionally. And so I've been doing my best to write, um, and express myself when I have processed. I'm practicing that as a fire sign in this watery moon. What I've been experiencing is learning how to harness my fire, which is my energy, because fire represents spirit and energy. Learning when to replenish myself, and learning when to preserve myself. And those things has just been what I've been reflecting on for this full moon. And when it comes to like my relationships, not only the ones that I'm dealing in, but how those relationships that I'm dealing with and I choose in my life, how is that a reflection from my past, from my home, and how I was cultivated, my relationship with my mother, and how I was raised at home, and reflecting and seeing how that has changed from then to now, and things that I have habitually been engaging in subconsciously, because also the moon energy represents your subconscious mind and your emotional self as well too. So what things have I picked up over the past, that are working for me and that are not working for me, because we're also in the earth sign Capricorn season. So it's been that balance of being practical and grounding myself, but grounding myself emotionally, specifically, with the information that I've gathered over the years, from healing from my home life when I was a child to what that reflects and look like today, and what information can I take from that. Where are the triggers, where's the hurt, and why is it coming up for me, and really doing that inward work and shadow work. So that's what this full moon has reflected for me. And if you guys have been experiencing anything, y'all can put it in the comment section, ask me any questions, and how maybe this energy, this full moon in Cancer, may have been affecting you, depending on what your sun and your rising sign is.
I love it. Just now, Rain has arrived.
Hey, Avi, what's up, beautiful?
Yes,
Hey,
hello.
Give me one
Hello,
second, y'all.
hello.
Yes, yes, yes. Hey, Rain, how are you doing, my darling?
I am sorry for my tardiness, but better late than never, and I bring the party when I
That
come.
is all
Good
right.
night, lovely
That is all right.
ladies. It's
How are
so
you,
good to
Avi? How
have
are you,
you.
Avi?
I'm good. I'm good. It feels good just to connect with you guys right now. Like it just really
Yeah.
boosted my energies.
Yes, oh, yes, oh. Listen, you bring in a bright, high vibration yellow, and then um Rain is bringing all the hot, hot, sexy red energy. Like, yes, we coming in hot. We coming
We're
in
coming
hot.
in.
I love it.
So I just want to say a pleasant good night. I don't know if we did a show for the new year. My memory is kind of sketchy, but I
Nope.
want to say New Year, even though I do not believe that the New Year starts at January when everything
Let's
is the
talk
same,
about
we're
it.
going to go with the Gregorian we're going to go with the Gregorian calendar because that's the society that we live in. And I'm going to say a pleasant Happy New Year's. And I hope that in 2025, we become master alchemists and master not only our time, but our energy and the energies that be. That's the specific reason that I wanted to do tonight's show, because if we understand what's going on within the external universe, it would better help us understand what's going on in our internal universe and be in alignment and be in better balance and coordination at the time. So I wanted to do a check-in because I'm a Venetian, I'm a Taurus rising, I'm a Libra
Hmm.
moon, and with Venus being in Pisces and all the transits of the nodes shifting from Aries and I forgot what else, and
I actually
into
have those.
Pisces and Virgo, and
Mhm. I'm gonna say I actually got those
I
placements up.
wanted to do a little check-in.
Okay, one second,
Yes, yes, yes.
Rain. Um, are you on Wi-Fi or not on Wi-Fi? Because for some reason you flowing and then it's like slowing you down or glitching you.
Okay, I'm gonna take it off of Wi-Fi and just be on my
Okay,
Wi-Fi now. Is it a little clearer?
just now it should be. It's there. We go. Yep, it settled you in nice. Yep, there we go. It's flowing
I'm
nicely.
loving them braids too, sis. You look so
Yeah.
cute.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm loving the braids.
And I
Okay,
caught the entail of what you were talking about, this Cancer full moon, and woo chile, woo chile. This moon has been woo child
mm,
for real.
I'm actually very appreciative for it because as a fire sign, I've been lit. I've been needing this full moon to come and douse me a little bit, you know.
well, let's talk
Um,
about it.
yeah, I needed this full moon to douse me a little bit. Um, because also what you spoke about some of the transits and stuff like that are happening and how that is also supporting. We have a lot of water energy in the outer
A
placement.
lot, a
A
lot.
lot of
Because
Pisces energy. We got Gemini. We got the mutable energy. But this year is actually going to be filled with a lot of mutable energy, mostly Virgo, mostly Pisces, and mostly Gemini energy. For the rest of it, it's going to be mostly a bunch of mutable energy this year. And the mutable signs usually help transition. Help the mutable sign helps us transition in the midst of change. So we need this year. We need this year, and a lot of Virgo energy as well too. So a lot about the mental health, physical health, gut health.
Okay, so let's walk it.
Sure.
We're gonna set it up. First, let the people know what is mutable signs for those that do not know.
So you have three different types of signs, or you can call it quadrants. We have, of course, the elements: earth, air, fire, water. Um, and then you have what we call mutable, fixed, and cardinal signs. So the mutable signs are the signs in the zodiac that are adaptable. The mutable signs of the zodiac are Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius. If you notice in the quadrants, you have every type of element in that quadrant.
Okay,
And so in that quadrant, it is you have mutable water, which is Pisces, which is
okay,
adapt through the emotions, the feels. And then you have the Virgo, which is mutable earth, which adapts through the materialistic world.
mm,
And then you have the mutable fire, which is movement of energy and spirit, which is Sagittarius. And
mm.
then you have mutable air, which is about the mental, which is about the intellect, which is about being able to shift your perspectives in certain environments and times. That's why they call Geminis two-faced or whatever. But all the mutable signs have a duality.
Yes, they
Right.
do.
They do.
All the mutable signs have a duality and a switch. Um, to its extreme. The Pisces is more so of the savior and the martyr.
Right.
That's Pisces. And then you have Virgo, that's I like to say the Virgin Mary and the prima donna.
Wait, it says
Or they
Marion
might
Little
say
Title.
the
Wait a
servant or the
minute.
slave.
The servant
Wait
and
a
the
minute.
slave. That's a
Slave.
good one
You
too.
know how
The
that
servant,
duality. Yep.
that duality
Damn.
too.
Yep.
Yep.
That's it.
And then you have mutable fire, which is the Sagittarius. Okay, so it's so interesting to identify this within myself because I'm a Sag, but it's more so of like the fool and the wise one.
Mm.
And then you have Gemini. I Avi'yam, you may be able to speak to
Yeah,
the
I want to hear
duality
your
or
what's your
better
perspectives on that?
of
I
the
would
Okay,
love your
Gemini.
because
perspective.
it just feels good. Yeah, I just wanted to listen for a while because it's been a minute since I've been able to hear you guys, and it's really
Yes.
healing sometimes to be able to listen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just like we said, just like Fallon said, there are three modalities. We have the mutable modality, the fixed modality, and we have the cardinal modality. And right now, we just switched off from a cardinal modalities into mutable modalities. And just thinking about what you were just saying about, the fool and the magician, and how Sagittarius is fire, Pisces is water. The thing is Pisces prior ruler was Jupiter. Like
Yep.
its modern day ruler now is Neptune, but
Neptune.
its historic ruler was Jupiter. So there's a lot of similarities between Sagittarius and Pisces.
Pisces,
And
yep.
Oh, that is
yeah,
crazy.
which
Oh
Yes.
which
wow.
you two are, which you
That
two
I
are,
you
Yes.
and your
remember,
sun
Ricky?
signs,
I
and you
did
guys are
tell you
universal.
that.
So
I
You
told
did
you
tell
that
me that.
about you and
That's
your
what I'm saying. It's
mom.
so crazy.
Remember about you and your mom? I told you that y'all are
Yeah.
just alike.
Ay ay ay.
and you guys are both universal signs. Well, I am as well. Like the universal signs are the old souls, the old stubborn souls
Aquarius
that
for
still
sure.
need to get it together. That's Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Especially Pisces. Because Pisces is a collection of everything. So yeah, Ra, you probably been here a lot.
12 times.
And
No,
then
it's 13.
13, what,
Mm-hmm.
about?
Mm.
Okay.
Incarnations. I got 5 more to
Whoa.
go.
So do you think you're gonna be in a new transition in the next one? Do you think that you're gonna be
Well, this is the thing. A lot of people have this concept that you have this where you only come back if you have some type of karma or you didn't finish something. I don't agree. I feel like that's a two-way thing. I feel like that is for some people, and that is a reality for some, but not for all. I feel like there's some people because even there's certain entities like Thoth that are eternals, Hanuman. These are internal entities, and certain beings that have lived multiple incarnations for a purpose. So for me, every incarnation I was a practitioner. I served as a healer. I served in some capacity of a priest or a practitioner in that capacity. So it wasn't a matter of karma. I know that when I finish my time, after that, the 5 more that I have to come, I will be an ascended being. I know that for myself. And so it's not a matter of me coming back to undo or fix a karma. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like some missions are bigger than one
Mm-hmm.
lifetime.
Yeah.
So with that being said, and I don't know, the some stuff is karma, but it could be what's the opposite of karma is dharma, right? It could be
Mm-hmm.
you're here to collect the good fortune. That's a
Mm-hmm.
part of
Mm-hmm.
also fulfilling your destiny as well too, is getting your due diligence, the good
Yeah,
life you
absolutely.
deserve.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not always
Absolutely.
karmic or bad that you
Mm-hmm.
recome here. You may have suffered a few times in your past life, and you here to reap the harvest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So carry on,
It,
Aviam. I wanted to finish hearing your analogies with the or finish what you said. I don't want to cut you off because you're flowing. Go
there was
ahead.
something I was about to say, but because you guys were just speaking and then something came to me, I just lost it. Goodness.
Oh,
Okay.
It's
well,
okay.
you were talking about the other you
What
were
was I
talking about
saying?
the
About the
other
other
modalities.
quadrant, the
Mercury, Mercury,
modalities.
Mercury,
Yeah.
Mercury, Mercury, Mercury.
Okay.
Yeah, because we just talked about Jupiter, and you guys
Yes.
both being having Jupiter as someone that rules, well, not someone, but the planet that rules your sign, and then
Yes.
also Jupiter being about like higher learning, higher education, like you said, Fallon, the wise men, and then you think about Mercury, and Mercury is kind of like the educated student.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Mercury is like it's the sign of communication, writing, information, data, cars, like that. Like oftentimes a lot of astrologers when they're
Technology for
reading,
sure. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
So I
and
have
just
a
thinking about that. Oh,
No, continue flowing, and then I'll ask my
And
question.
just getting into the axis, well, not the axis, but the duality of Mercury. Oftentimes, like people, Gemini, they think, oh, that means two-faced. No, it's duality, and that can manifest in so many different ways. Like the duality of Gemini, you might think a funny person. This person is very comedic. This person makes me laugh, ball of joy, spontaneous. Have another side of them, very authoritative and very militant. Wouldn't know they had to talk to them.
Yes.
Like they would think that that's just a different side. Side being very, side being very
Wait, Avi.
serious.
Wait. Avi, 1 second. Turn your Wi-Fi off.
Yeah, you breaking up as well too. I was just gonna say.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So while Avi gets her technical issues in order, I wanted to ask a question. It's a
What's
grand
that?
question. With this year being ruled by so much mutable energy, what impact do you think it's going to have on a global scale? Like, especially when you're thinking about things like geopolitics and different socioeconomic things that are happening within not only America, but the world at large with such heavy, mutable, and adaptable energy. Like I always say, like if you pray for peace, God is going to send you situations that's going to test your peace. So if we're in an energy that's very adaptable, do you think that we're going to have more situations where people are going to be forced to have to adapt?
Especially people who are abusing authority and don't like change. Like those people are most likely going to have it the hardest, or those who are refusing to adapt to the changes that are happening, people who are still stuck in the old ways. So when that transit happened, when we had Pluto in retrograde before it went back into Aquarius, when I say the Capricorn's been acting up since then, it's crazy work. Avi'yam, I really want to know your perspective of Capricorn energy within itself, and what is your perspective of, because that may tie into answering Rain's question as well too, of what's to come, because we did just do an age shift. Like literally, we just shifted a whole age. So if you're not open to some of the changes, which I got some fixed placements in my chart. My Mars is in Scorpio. I have a Saturn in Aquarius. So some changes have been difficult for me. So you will have to look at some of the fixed placements in your chart to maybe see where there could be a little bit of stubbornness, or maybe where you need help. I think it's really a time that people are going to be seeking more help and guidance this year. Like the people like us are going to be able to help as long as we've grounded ourselves, because awakening happening in waves. And so we have to understand what people are actually going through who haven't really been doing this work, or who are foreign to this work. So I think this year is definitely going to be challenging for some, but liberating for most. It's gonna be liberating for most of us, because a lot of us are gonna be like, damn, I have literally been captivating myself with how I think the world is supposed to look. And then there's so many examples of things being torn down and destroyed and revealing. And it's literally opening up a space to where people are a little bit more like, okay, well, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do it this way. When it comes to family structures, when it comes to how we do business, when it comes to how we deal with food. I think it's gonna be a lot of changes for sure. And people are going to be, I can't even say 50-50. I'll say 70-30. Like it's going to be 70% of people is going to be like, this is the change that I needed. This is the liberation. And some people, it's going to take a little bit of time for them to realize that this is happening. A lot of people are still kind of a little aloof to some of the powers that be when it comes to our personal sovereignty and our control. We've had a lot of control all along. It's just we really have to tap in spiritually. And for people who are used to materialism and used to checking the bag, chasing the bag is your inner work. Chasing the bag is doing your shadow and identifying your shadow. Checking the bag is being able to take accountability. Checking the bag is going to be able to collaborate, because people compete at the bottom. We collaborate at the top. So I think it's going to be a lot of more revealing And a lot of things that we're all going to have to, even those who are okay with adapting, we're still going to have to learn how to adapt to the changes that other people are experiencing. And they're not going to have a hard, we're going to have to adapt to the fact that, hey, we're also not in a bubble, even though we've been doing this work. There's other people out here who may not understand what this looks like. So we're going to have to be a little bit more patient and understanding, and mutable meaning in being okay with shifting your mindset, and nothing is really set in stone right now. We're like babies in this age. Like, this is the beginning of literally
A new dawn.
this is literally like, we might not even, some of the changes that are happening now, we may see it in this lifetime type of energy.
So I wanted to piggyback on something you said about Capricorns. And like when I personally, like I'm not an astrologer, but, like when I think about Capricorn, I always think about the perpetual old person. They were old from the time they were young. They have a sense of wisdom that tends to make you forget that they might be as young numerologically as they are old in spirit. And now, as we're in this energy of trancing with so much Pisces energy, which is the all encompassing of all the signs, and we're shifting more into this Capricorn like mindset of like, okay, I need to get these things done. I need to be more practical. Because one thing about Capricorns, they're going to be on task. They're going to get that job done. They're going to work hard. How do we bridge between this free form energy that I feel that's coming across, with this new age of Aquarius, while still holding on to that practical aspects that Capricorn tend to bring within our lives?
So I'm going to answer this really quickly by storytelling in my sash bag, okay? I take care of an elder who is a Capricorn. She's 86 years old. Imagine that, right? She has went through and experienced and seen so much. And she just stopped actually driving like a year ago by herself. She's very self-sufficient. But I'm realizing that she is transitioning, and her not to sound dark or anything, but her time, she's transitioning because the world is not fit for what her mind has the capacity for. So listening to her, even sometimes it gets a little stubborn and repetitive, and she does not know how to receive help because she today she asked me, she was like, you the boss, huh? That's what she asked me, because I'm giving her instructions. I'm saying, hey, take your medicine, drink your water, put on your clothes, get out of that defeated mindset. God still gave you grace. I'm speaking life into her.
Yes,
But
yes,
I'm
yes.
also giving her instruction, and she's taking heed to it, but she still has that confusion because she does have dementia now. But she's so strong-minded, for real. The dementia really comes because a lot of people don't know that dementia is like type 3 diabetes. So it's one of those things where it's starting to eat at her now because of her diet. But everything else, as far as her keeping her mind sharp, she used to be a chaplain, and a chaplain ain't nothing but what we call in this day like a doula. Or a priest. It's the same thing, just from a Christian perspective. So now that we have different names for these things, now that we have different language for these things, that is what we need to focus on communicating in this new age. It's going to take for people who have the knowledge, and it's going to be us, especially those who are born. And a lot of us at the end of the 2000s have heavy Capricorn placements, especially those who were born from 1989 to 1992. Most of us have Capricorn stelliums. So we're gonna be the ones with the wisdom that know. It's like that Sankofa energy. We're gonna be able to tell the stories and let people know this is what was happening, and this is probably where you need to change. And that's where innovation has to come in, because Aquarius energy is all about innovation. We're gonna have to be a little bit more creative, and in learning how to communicate to
Mm-hmm.
the youth. That's really what it's about, bridging the gaps. So it's going to be what I would suggest in that, from my experience from working with this elder, is a lot of listening. If you got elders around you, you better sit at their feet. And I know it could be difficult sometimes, but listen, not only to listen to combat, but listen to understand where they were so that you can know where we need to go. And without taking it personal, because a lot of us are still upset with the older generations. And we're not taking the capes off of them because they didn't have the resources that we had. Now that they have the information, you know what I'm saying? The information that she has, um, she can help us bridge that gap so that we don't repeat these cycles over again. So I think that will be my wise counsel in the situation. Um, so yeah, that's what I would take from that.
I love it. And I'm experiencing a similar situation with my grandparents. So I'm very much so empathizing with that because they're very strong persons. But I'm going to go deep into detail because I want to hear Aviam. Don't pivot from where you are, Aviam. Flow. Give it to us.
Well, actually, I've been hearing you guys speak a lot about the planets, but something that I was thinking about when I just think about everything that's going on, all of the planets, all of the signs, of course, we all come with elements, and a lot of the elements have been showing up over these past 2 years. For example, last year, right when Saturn really was getting into Pisces, and we seen how we had that issue with, I don't know why I was about to call it the Titanic, but what was the name of that ship that sank? Well, not sank, but oh
It was like the
goodness.
Titanic. I don't. Was it a cruise ship?
Are
It
you
wasn't
talking
No,
part of.
about the
what's it
chair
called?
situation?
Yeah, the situation where those five
With
men
all the
they
black people? That
there
situation?
was two situations. There was one situation where there was a bunch of migrants that got lost in sea that nobody was able to
The
find, and the
Oh,
government was
submarine.
supposed to find them. And then there was a submarine. That's what it was. It was a
yes,
submarine,
yes. I
and
remember the
they
submarine.
yeah, and they drowned. And I remember you even talked about it on your live,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's when I
Mm-hmm.
told you they
Mm-hmm.
were saying Olo
Mm-hmm.
Coon was eating the rich as a joke. And yeah, I love EFI and Hoodoo Twitter. They are hilarious.
Whoa. Lord of mercy.
Yeah, they said them rich white folks had no business being down there. They was saying all of that.
Look, I'm sorry.
But
Okay, all right, I'm done.
Oh God. Okay. I needed to
yeah, and
laugh.
instances with water, and then of course there was a bridge that collapsed on water, and then and now with this year there's so many elements of fire. Just thinking about how there was that Tesla explosion in Vegas, then thinking about like how there was the shooter in the attacker in New Orleans. You guys heard of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Yes.
and New Orleans is such a spiritual place. Just to start the new year that way, and just
Everybody
thinking
goes.
about all of these things that are involved, and then the fires that just happened in Los Angeles. It's not even a month into the year, and this whole Mars year
I
has been
could.
nothing but fire.
I will give you a tidbit.
15
Um,
days in.
I will give y'all a tidbit to piggyback to what you're saying because I know where we're getting ready to go, and I want y'all to go there. And we really need to go ahead and dive into what's taking place and give the people. We talked about what has taken place in the past, but now we got to shift to what's going on presently and what's happening in the stars and how it's impacting us. Because I'm gonna drop this bone in there. I could tell you from the beginning of the year, within a sacred gathering that I'm a part of, insight came down that there's definitely forces that have been released. There's been certain things that were aligned and certain doors that have been opened. And the reality is, we can't send these forces back. We have to learn to coexist amongst them. But they are here with the intent to take and to destroy. And this is not like, oh, some something of the past or something that has existed before. And so as you are identifying these series of events, you understand that now you're starting to see also the correlations to these interesting shifts in the stars. Everything is all playing together in the message, and not everybody's going to understand, and not everybody's going to see it, but it is happening, and we are living, and it's happening. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Avian, can I ask you a question? What do you feel about AI?
About AI.
And what do you feel about AI on the duality side as an Aquarian? How do you feel about
Well,
that?
I also am a Gemini moon, and I got a lot of Virgo in my chart. So
Yep.
okay, so
How do you feel about
I'm
it?
very Mercurial. Okay, so
Yeah,
how I feel about
that's
AI is
technology. That's up your alley. That's all of that is intertwined. Technology.
yeah. So as an Aquarius, I absolutely love AI. I gotta be honest, my Aquariusness, I just love it. It feels like I was designed to understand this. So right when it came on, I kind of just felt the natural urge to hop on that bandwagon and see what this is. But
Same.
at the same time, hold on. But at the same time, Aquarius, we're ruled by Uranus, and our traditional ruler was Saturn, just like Capricorns. They're kind of like our sister
Mhm.
signs just as well. And and I can also add more into about Capricorns and the planet Saturn, because in Vedic astrology, I'm a Capricorn, and I can
Please
relate
talk
to my
about it.
Vedic chart. So
Please talk about it.
And I'm an
so
Aquarian in a Vedic astrology.
I'm Scorpio.
oh, I can see that in you so much, Ra. I swear, so much.
Yeah,
You seem
I'm a
so
Leo.
Aquarian,
I'm a
and you seem
Scorpio.
Leo. Yeah, and Vedic or
And
In
Vedic.
tropical.
Vedic,
And Vedic.
I'm a
Oh, okay.
Leo.
And
Yeah.
Vedic. Yep. And then and
Uh-huh.
then a Leo moon too in Vedic astrology.
Yeah, and then I have a lot of placements that are the same too, which is actually feels like a big testimony on what you definitely were here to do. Like when certain
Mhm.
things are made to tame in both charts, you're so damn sure wanted you to complete some shit.
Mhm.
But back to where I was going. Before I referenced piggybacking into
Yeah,
that,
you
we
were
were
going
talking
into the
about
different shifts and what's taking place in the world, the fires, the
how I feel
signs.
about AI.
Yeah,
Oh
and
yeah, and
AI.
also with AI, yes. And there's two things about it. Is one, a lot of people in humanity they will find themselves getting attached to it. And there's a lot of
Mm.
people that because the thing is also when it comes to Aquarius energy, Pluto being an Aquarius, we are known for being individuals and people who are big on individuality. Like when it comes to attention and leadership, we have a lot of similarities to Leo, of course. But the thing that separates us is Leos, they will see the masses and they'll want to appeal. Aquarius will see the masses and be like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't care if y'all like me or not. I'm going to just do what I'm doing.
Yeah,
But the
repeal.
thing is, yeah, we'll rebel. Well, that Uranus will come out. You know what I'm saying? And that's not just for Aquarius sons. This can also apply to
Mhm.
people that have it in their personal placements, which means their rising, their sun, their moon, their Venus. I mean Mercury, their Venus, their Mars.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure I communicate it all out.
You got
But
it.
okay, but yeah. So thing is with Aquarian energy, that I rebel, that I'm an individual, that it kind of makes us not necessarily group people. It makes us tribal people. A lot of us don't feel too close to our families like that because we got to think. Even though Pluto is in Aquarius right now, I believe it's Scorpio is the 10th house of it. No, it's not. Scorpio is the 10th house of Aquarius. Yeah, Scorpio's the 10th house of Aquarius, right? I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. What was your
I'm
question,
sorry.
love?
I'm sorry. I'm a tad bit high. I'm sorry.
No, no, no. What was your
You
question?
okay?
You
I was
good?
like, all right. Scorpio's the 10th house of Aquarius, or is it Aquarius that's the 10th house of Scorpio? No. Aquarius is no. Scorpio is the 10th house of Aquarius, and
Yes, it
no.
is.
Sorry,
Yes. So if
I'm
you're a
trying to get all
Scorpio
of them houses.
rising, yes. So if you're a
Yeah,
Scorpio rising, your 10th house
10th
is
house.
Scorpio. No,
Yeah,
I mean your 10th house is a
if you're if you're
Capricorn.
yeah, if you're an Aquarius rising, your 10th house would be in the fixed sign of Scorpio.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, like
You got it right. Yeah.
yeah.
You
So the
got
thing
yourself.
is,
You
is that
good.
is like when it comes to your 10th house, that's how you come across to people, especially online. Like the way you come across to your whole online audience and people that don't know you like that, it's going to be your 10th house. And if
Libra.
somebody doesn't, yeah, you may come across Venus suing, the people that don't know you like that. And then, but the thing is also with your 10th house and your reputation being that, is that with when it comes to our 10th house being Scorpio, and that can apply to not just risings, but also people who have Aquarius, like maybe suns and moons, is that people will think you are mysterious, whether you're trying not to be. They're going to think that you're distancing yourself, even, well, you might be distancing yourself, but it's not that you're trying to isolate yourself. It's just that sometimes operating as an individual is such a deep sense of motive operandi that consciously or unconsciously
Okay.
a person can
So
be in.
I
And
just have one
just to,
question.
but
Just
all
one
right, that's
question.
a, all right, I'm sorry, but
No,
just so I
continue.
won't seem like I'm over explaining this, because I may be over explaining this. But the thing is that with Scorpio being the 10th house of Aquarius, we're going to see a lot of times where it's going to seem like people are going to be distant from each other. It's not going to seem like all of us are coming together. People may be more tribal, more than community oriented. It'll be, I got my people. I don't really know y'all like that. I'm an Aquarius. We have this Aquarius energy. These people, they like us. Y'all not like us. They not like us either. Them niggas not like us. People might get very tribal and individualistic, but not community. But
And
go
that's
ahead.
interesting because I'm dealing with that right now. That is one of the biggest adversities, especially after getting out of my Saturn return in Aquarius. Like
one
Fallon,
I
second though.
just
Wait,
got
wait,
out
wait.
of that, and I just turned
Fallon.
33. So yeah, huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead,
No,
Rain.
I was just saying I resonate with what Avi'yam is saying. Like that is happening in my world literally right now. After getting out of my Saturn return, it's like I don't know who the fuck is who is tribe, who is community, who imposing to be that. Like it's very mysterious for me. So
I
I
can
was
understand that. I can understand that wholeheartedly. Go ahead, Rain.
So I had like just a question that was running through my mind. So my midhaven is in Aquarius, and I
Mm-hmm.
was thinking about this being the age of Aquarius and the conversation about AI and the particular timing that AI has gained its popularity with more people using it and the duality of that. Now, with so many people being reliant on artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
do you think it takes away from our natural intelligence as human beings? Because we're no longer going to be using our own mind to generate these thoughts and concepts if we're constantly running to artificial intelligence to basically think for us.
Yeah. Like,
Mm.
go ahead, Ra.
I was gonna say my first answer was right off the bat. My first answer was yes, but as I start to dissect that a little bit more, I started to get a different answer. And here's why I say it depends on the individual. If the individual is not an in-depth thinker, then it will definitely limit them. But I think for individuals like ourselves that are very in-depth thinkers and researchers, you would never be able to go far enough. Does that make sense?
yes,
Like I would start like with me, for example, I would start with a certain question. And then that question start to linger other questions. And then my mind started to go boom, 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 and I start to get five different dots and connect the dots. So then I'm confirming and researching through AI. So where AI will give me the results, but also resources that if I chose to go and purchase a book or go to a website to validate what it just produced, I could do that because it does do that as well. It does have resources where it's pulling its information from. And so I think for researchers and people that are in depth, complex thinkers, AI, and you could walk and talk on a certain vibration where
it's gonna be
Yeah.
information junkies.
yeah,
People are gonna be
yeah. So you
information.
can't.
A lot of
I think it
dogmatism.
doesn't take away
So,
from the think pattern or the how the brain starts to process.
It's
I
a
think it
great tool.
processes
so
Yeah.
differently.
So for me, it's like we live in a society that already has so many distractions, right? Most people, their attention spans, their ability to process information, all of that is very limited. So the way I view AI as my personal belief is just another distraction, another handicap to keep us from truly being free thinkers. Like now, yes, there's people who are true researchers and divers who love to go beyond. And when you surround yourself with people who are like-minded like you, it's easy to believe that this is how most of the world operates and thinks, and they're going to use it for this purpose of like diving deeper and going further. But if we're a generation of people where they show like most kids nowadays can't read past a certain level, right? How do we stop the progression of natural intelligence inept becoming inept?
Let me
I
say
have
this
a, I
before
have
you
a
start.
comment
Wait,
to that.
wait, Paul. Wait. Let me tell you something. If a person did not have it in them to pick up a textbook and read and study before the AI is not gonna
So I'm
take
glad
away
you
or
said
add to
that,
that
Rob. I'm
because
so
it
glad.
has to be in the person to want to advance themselves. Period.
Can I make this more relatable to
Go
all of
ahead.
us as practitioners? Can I bring this full circle?
Go ahead.
Okay. Just like the internet is an algorithm, just like the same thing that AI is that. So as tarot readers, isn't that not the same thing? When we read cards, when you're asking that person, what do you usually encourage your client before you even pull cards? You ask for them to you vet them into a specific question. It's the same way that AI, you're not going to know how to use AI if you don't have discernment either. So it's
This
not
is
even
true.
about the technology, it's about the individual and what
Individual.
their
Yeah.
mind is. It's the same thing, and why I get irritated with people who steady get damn tarot readings but don't look at their damn astrological chart to help them see the patterns. They got somebody telling them, oh, it's chaos happening in your life, or there's love around you. I can tell you this shit, but how you regurgitate the information is amongst you and your
Absolutely.
intentions.
Absolutely.
I'm saying this in defense of readers who have dealt with a lot of people not doing the fucking work, and they
And
want to
it's
come and they want to get answers,
wait.
but
Before
not.
you go there, but also let me tell you how AI could also advance a feeble-minded person.
Let's go, because I
Because
believe
you went to a place where it talks about the probing and the vetting. AI does that too.
that's what I'm
Do you want
saying.
to know more about the da 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 da? Well, I never thought about that. Chat GBT, let me see what that's about.
It's the same
You
way as like
understand?
it
And
works
so
like
now it
tarot
goes back
readings.
to the person. Now the short attention span person, at the end of the day, a chat GBT don't have no pictures and videos for you. You have to read. And for the person that cannot articulate big words, it will read it for you. And so at the end of the day, the practice of reading and expanding one's vocabulary and edifying oneself for historical and scientific facts is still edification to the brain and to the mind. Because let's go back into realizing the Sumerian tablets. We're going to go there for 2 seconds. The Neteru that came down, the Sumerian gods that came down, they had technology far beyond our computers and tablets. They were using tablets.
He's still
It's in the
trying to figure them
tablets.
pyramids out.
Hello, they were using artificial intelligence. Those spaceships had
Mhm.
computers that we
All
now
this is
call
Mercury too.
Siri. Yeah, they had computers that we call Siri and Hey Google and Gemini. Gemini now. You understand? So we're now, it's a fact. This is proven science now. The politicians have confirmed this. We are now cracking just a little bit of the door of the level of technology that has existed before the existence of this plane and time we're living in today. So this is nothing. AI on the phone, ChatGPT, this is nothing. Even when you talk about genetic coding that happened again in the tablets in the Old Testament that is there, it took a high level of technology and something that could predict or determine certain outcomes, predictable outcomes, just like Fallon brought back to reading. You're going back to the Chin system, going back to the Poile E5 divination system. These are binary
Hmm.
codes and possibilities of outcome. That goes back to what? The individual.
Self.
And you guys both talked about that Pisces Virgo axis, just with what you guys both did with the reading, with the education, with everything involving the mind, all of that. That's all like related to Mercury. And then with the
Yeah.
tarot, that's all with the spirit, the Pisces, the 12th house. Like
Like
that's the whole
it go
axis
back
of
to
it, about as
it can
above, so
never.
below.
If for a short, if you have a short attention span, AI not for you. Period. Especially if you're gonna deal with graphic and design and things of that nature, a form of AI. You may use the Siri, hey Google, hey this, hey that, a form of AI. But for when we're talking about the chat GBTs and the programs that are developing and pulling resources as a search engine, Google, AOL, Safari, Chrome, you understand these things. It is not for a person with a short attention span, because guess what? You got to read and you're going
And
to
so,
research.
Rain, and to your defense, I'm with you, sis. I'm with you. So my higher self understands that, hey, this is, I'm pretty sure people felt the same way when the laptops and internet came out. I'm pretty sure it was the same thing. It is scary. I've even seen some articles where it was saying that AI, the use of AI, the heightened use of AI has kind of heated up our water in some aspects. So, like they said, too much of anything is not good.
Truth.
I don't blame AI and the technology itself. I blame the people. I blame the people in what they choose to use it for. I mean, blame us, because I
Agreed.
definitely,
Mankind.
when them little pictures came out, I was excited. I'm like, this AI picture, man. I'm like, it kind of helped be able to curve out things that people can create in real time. I had AI create me a flyer. You feel me? Like, so it's a double-edged sword, Rain. So I understand, because AI can very well be taking our jobs. Like, even as readers, shit, at some point. But I'm not afraid of that, because there's so many other tools and so many other things to explore. That is when we talked about that transition from the fixed and us mutable, helping
Yeah.
adapt to the change, that is going to be one of the things. It's going to be technology. A lot of elders is going to be frustrated as shit. Do you hear me? And we probably going to be some of them elders if we don't. So instead of being fearful of it,
We got to get with it.
Rain will help transmute that energy, is learning about it.
Hmm.
When you learn more
For me,
about
I'm
it,
not
That's right.
coming from a place of fear.
okay.
I'm always coming from a place of, like, you have to know where the majority of the scale is tipping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, well, there, as I said, if you surround yourself with researchers, if you surround yourself with these kind of people, it's very easy to think, well, like, when this happens, AI will be filling in these gaps. And I'm not saying that it's not, because as you said, every successful tool has come from somewhere where it didn't exist before. But we
Yeah.
can say now we've seen the effects of, like, having Google. Most kids don't know how to go to the library and look for a book. Most kids don't know how to read a book. Most kids copy and paste and, figured out how to perfect plagiarism versus actually doing the research and reading. Now, if you have a mind that's inclined to like to read and to want to read and to want to discover more, of course, AI is a beautiful tool to encourage that. Unfortunately, statistically and study wise, they show that's not where our children are heading. They're
that's true.
becoming dumber and dumber and dumber because of all the ease of these tools that are being provided for them.
But once again, Rain, I hear you. I understand you. Yet it's still the accountability
Of
on
the individual, the
the
parents, the
person, the
household.
parent who allows that, because
Hmm.
it's access to so much stuff, but depending on your household, it depends on what that looks like. And if you teach your children how to use things in balance, I'm not saying that that's easy within itself, because it's just like, have you ever been that child in school that you seen everybody else doing it, but your grandma and your mama was like, you not doing that?
Exactly.
It's the same thing. It's like there's
Yeah.
gonna be some households that some people like,
Because my mom raising my brother is nowhere
but
like
they
how she
can also
raised
be
us.
socially siphoning to a degree too,
Absolutely.
because it's been times that I grew up old school with my grandma where she was so afraid of me using certain tools that it kind of hindered me from learning coding. If I would have stayed stuck to tag in MySpace, I probably would have been more into technology, and I would have been able to. But I was my grandma was afraid of it, and I know you're not coming from a space of fear, yet it's still a level of, maybe I should
Conditioning.
use the word pessimism, or just from a balanced perspective, because you got to look at the light with the dark, and what you're saying is very valid. Yet I'm still going to leave the accountability in the hands of the parents. I'm
Yeah.
not going to blame AI for that. It's just like the same thing how I feel about music. I get it. Yeah, you're right. A lot of people are pushing agendas and things on television. But when you are an elevated parent, you understand that, yo, I need to monetize. But you should be monetizing anyways. Like, that's just a part of parental advising. You know? And having things in your home that represents what you want your children to be fed with. But some people don't even have that knowledge. So I do understand where you're coming
That's a
from,
fact.
especially if you're a school teacher or you're dealing with children and you deal with them at a mass
Great. Yeah.
perspective. I can see what you're saying about the numbers. You're right. These children are in 8th grade, freshman year of
And
high
they
school.
are.
You got a 6th grade level. You're right.
They are.
It's that parents' fault for not reinforcing certain things, for not in sharing certain wisdoms and allowing their children to be pacified by a phone when they don't feel like being bothered, when they should have just not been parents in the first fucking place. And that's my opinion. That's just my judgment.
No,
I
I agree.
believe that certain parents have kids for egotistical and superficial and vain reasons, which is why they get superficial
And they
and
left to raise
vain.
themselves. And they left to raise themselves. You can buy the nice clothes. You can put a roof over their head. You can feed them. You can send them to a great school. But if the home lacks structure and it lacks you being actively involved in you setting parameters on the game and you setting parameters on the phone like they used to do on for us, it set us up. Yes, it was strict in that time, but you see, okay, also build a level of discernment and wisdom where I see the difference with my brother who's 13 or 14 and he's in what, sophomore junior in high school. And the way that my mom is raising him is totally different than how she's raising us, with the level of freedom. They don't get homework. You understand, they don't have summer school. You understand, they don't. So he's, it's a totally different structure. So it's also the shift in the school system, which is politically set up. Let's talk about that too. And then there's also the lack of the structure in the school. So yes, the teachers are getting the brunt of it because they're dealing with these large number of kids where you have a 5%, a 3% that's on the mark or above the mark, and the rest of them are behind the mark. But like we said it in the beginning, the individual person, the individual household. If the parents are, I don't care if you're working 2 or 3 jobs, you understand, there's still parents that were single mothers, single fathers working 2 and 3 jobs and still had structure in the household. So it's a matter of what you
And to
stand
jump
for.
right there, we had more, where we were talking about tribal, as Javi said, versus communal. Before we were in more of a communal living. So even if I was a single parent working 3 jobs, I may have had grandma or auntie or cousin that would step in and fill in the gaps. But now with things like economic crisis and all, I'm not making excuses for parents because, like you said, you're always in control of your house, but the system itself isn't set up the same way.
So, and that's beautiful that you're saying that. Now that we understand that, that is the message that needs to be getting across. The system is failing us. So why? And this is where I look at the lighter side of what Avi'yam said earlier, with us maybe more tribal than just community. And I think there's a total difference. Community is like, we needed communities to have access to things because of the level of what was going on with society. Tribe, it just gives a level of more self-sustainability. It gives more self-governing. It gives more that vibe. It means I'm attracted to even the people in your family, to what you just said, Rain. Even if grandma is around, even if auntie is around, even if you hire a babysitter, you still have to vet those people, because let's be real, a lot of people have mothers that they have children and their mothers are jealous of them, and they try to raise their children differently and try to unlearn and undo whatever that parent is trying to instill in that child.
Yes, yes,
So even
yes.
in the family dynamic, that's why I'm more so on big on tribe and figuring out who your tribe is, meaning not your tribe in what are the rules that were set. No, a tribe where I can communicate, hey, this is how I want my household to look. Can you uphold that? If my children read books at 5 p.m. before I get home, don't you dare turn on that fucking TV when I'm telling you that's not how I want my children to be raised.
Absolutely. And we live in a time where you can put cameras in that bitch with microphones. Fuck that. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
y'all.
that's not how I want
It is a
my
will
children
and
to
it's a
be
way.
raised.
It is a will and a
So
way.
if
It
you
is.
feel, and it's kind of like even what I learned as being a doula, you have to leave your biases at the door when you servicing people. A lot of people are very dogmatic and they want to bring their belief systems in somebody else's system. And what that age of Aquarius is teaching us is everybody got a different system, and you're gonna have to respect that. Just because it looks differently from you, don't mean that you have to go and try to be dogmatic and preach and change fear, because what works for them, what they eat makes them shit, and what I eat makes me shit. And
That's
so
right.
if we at some point come together with these differences, we will have more respect if we'll just respect the fact that, hey, don't cross over my line and I won't cross over yours.
Mm-hmm.
So and I think it's leading us more to, on a positive side, to more accountability. Once again, that's my favorite word in this year. And integrity, meaning doing the things that you say you were going to do. And contracts, like I feel like some of these things that are becoming more formality, that a lot of people don't like, that are formal, is because people are sometimes what I like to call nigga business. We do what we have, but when we have a abundant mentality, it's kind of like, you know what,
Mm-hmm.
actually I have a little bit of a standard, and I want Black people, melanated people, to find themselves
Yes.
worthy of opulence and standards and excellence. Like it's okay for us to be that. We don't have
Mm-hmm.
to dive into the conditions of the past, and we can be more discerning about how we're gonna have children if we know we ain't got that tribe that's gonna respect us.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need to
Absolutely.
be cultivating now. Because if I have children, just know, because I'm that kid that lost their mom at 11 years old, my mom had all the friends and people. Funeral line was out the damn door, around the corner, out the. But do you think I know any of those people? So that's what I learned from that situation, and it happened to me divinely. As an 11-year-old, I was observant of that for a reason. Because now that I'm at this age and I'm ready to cultivate and thinking about having family and creating one of my own, I understand that, hey, I need to work on communicating better with my tribe, the people, letting them know clearly what my expectations are. But first, I got to go inward to do that work so I can be able to set that standard. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's all gonna come together how you choose to think, because we're that powerful. We can think these things into existence. Yet I think us thinking about what can go wrong sometimes puts us in a space of what do you call that? It's kind of like a
Cycle.
psychosis or
Mm-hmm.
a cycle, or just we just
Mm-hmm.
going in a circle over and over again. And that's why I'm really actually optimistic about this Aquarius energy moving forward. It is going to be challenging, but I think the only reason why it's going to be challenging is because it's going to speak to the dogmatic spaces that we just got out of in the age of Aquarius. Everything was black and white in that age, and it's not that no more. We have Reddit information where people can figure out what works for them, and you just learn to respect that. Now, if it's harming and hindering you, then that ain't your tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Or probably your assignment to try to figure out and fix.
This is true.
And that's
Now,
what's
as we
making
come
people.
down, oh, go ahead,
Oh,
Avi. I was going to say
and that's
right before you start, though. Right before you start, I want you to say what you're going to say, but also segue into, because in all of us speak, in all of the time that we've been speaking, we said what we were going to talk about regarding what's happening in astrology, and we have not hit on it in its fullness. And I do want to know. I personally want to know, and the viewers still need to know, because that was the goal of today. So, in the midst of all that we discussed, which has been a lot of good stuff, I still want to know what is taking place, what is happening in the stars, these
Well,
transits, all these things. I don't know if we hit on it entirely, but I don't think
well,
I got a
it's
full
a
gist.
practice. It's a practice of me to speak in the language of astrology. So I'm always
Okay.
bringing and tying
Okay.
it back to the
Yes. Okay.
transits. So if you
Okay.
go
Okay.
back,
Good.
you will
Okay.
see that
Wonderful.
I'm tying, even what I'm saying, even in this age of Aquarius, I'm just talking about the totality of
Okay.
the
Okay.
shifts. So that is what we did talk about, but
Okay. I
it's
just want to
more
make sure.
specifically what's going to be happening soon. We
Okay.
can transit into that, or I can talk
Okay.
about the planet placements, or Avi'yam can
Yeah.
chime in.
Okay. Go ahead, Avi.
um one sec. I'm right now. I'm actually like right on this app that I have. I'm not sure if you guys have it, but it's called Time Passages, and it gives everything that's going on in the stars and how it corresponds with your chart. You can be able to see the current chart that's going on with the day. Like, for example, today we're in the full moon phase. The sun is in Capricorn, the moon is in Leo. You can see the aspects that are also going on as well, that are strong, and those that are medium strength, and those that are weak aspects that's in the stars. They also give really good information on your own birth chart. And when it comes to also looking at your horoscope, it can show how the planets are interacting with your natal chart that very day.
That's
Okay.
beautiful. I'm gonna download time passages. So
I'm gonna share too. I'm
I've been
sharing
on
it in
the
the
pattern.
comments.
So Avi'yam, can you share some of your differences in how you use the pattern? Is the first question. And if you do, can you talk? You already talked about what you use time passages for, but what are the differences in which you use those tools? How do you use those tools?
All right, hold on one second. I'm trying to make sure I'm seeing all of the aspects that's going on, because we got Sun at Mars today, Sun trine Uranus. Venus is squaring Jupiter, but I heard Venus is going to stop being squaring. Oh, we got a Venus conjunct Saturn, which is so good.
Yes, I love that.
Okay, but all right. Well, one thing that's going on.
Avi'yam, I want what you was smoking.
All right. So one thing that's going on right now is because, all right, the sun is in Capricorn. We're in Capricorn season, and right now it's not conjuncting Venus, but it's trining Venus right now. And that means that these two planets are in harmony. That means that they're getting along with each other. That means they're liking each other. That means that they have good energies flowing amongst each other. So right now, I would say if anybody is looking for anything stable with someone, anybody in a commitment, this would be a good time. Because with Venus and Saturn conjuncting, I know I said Sun, I meant Saturn.
Look, I'm over here like.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know this album would get me this high. I'm sorry.
You good? Go do it.
The Saturn rules Capricorn. Saturn's about commitment. Saturn's about stability. It's conjuncting Venus. They're both in Pisces. Pisces is a sign that is all about lovers. And there's a lot of romantic energy that comes with Neptune. So if somebody wants a commitment with someone, or if somebody wants to do a love spell or something like
I
that.
need to fix the situation in this time. Then this is ideal to fix the situation.
The planet ruling long-lasting commitment and the planet ruling love and beauty they're conjuncting. They're in harmony. Sorry, I was high.
You okay, baby? You flow with
I
the
got
wind.
excited and I communicated the interpretation off as hell. But that's something that's going on in the heavens, and they'll be going on for a good amount of time.
So, how do you feel about this Mars and Cancer energy, Avi'yam?
In retrograde, because that's
in retrograde.
Cancer retrograde in my natal chart. And one thing I've noticed is also with this full moon, with this full moon, also being in Cancer, there's a lot of things I think the collective as a whole have to do when it comes to healing that inner mother, and how we also assert ourselves. Because oftentimes when we think of asserting ourselves, we always think about how are we asserting ourselves physically if somebody wants to fight me or attack me and other Martian things. But when it comes emotionally, how do you protect yourself? How do you protect other people? How do you protect, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the inner child concept, but that we all have our inner child within us, like that little boy in you, that little girl in you. How do you protect that younger child in you when you feel some type of pain? Do you even acknowledge that type of pain?
So quick question, if you want to, and I think I know the answer to this, but I want to be sure. When you're looking at the Mars energy in somebody's chart and you want to know how that transit is affecting them, do you look at their Mars sign in comparison to what's going on, or do you look at their aspects to Mars?
When it comes to that question, are they asking how is this affecting them in their life, in their natal chart?
But how is the transit, how is the transit Mars and Cancer affecting them in retrograde, affecting them? Do you look at their Mars sign? Do you look at what place?
I would look at what house that transit falls into. Within their
so you will see what house Mars is in for them.
Natal chart. Like for example, if your Mars is in the 11th, not 11th house, all right. Mars is in Cancer. So where
That's funny because you just said mine. My Mars is in the 11th house.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think.
You channeling some stuff, girl. That's all. It's okay.
If your whatever house your Mars in can't okay, can't my Mars is in the 11th. Oh goodness. I'm sorry.
Take your time. Take your time, honey. You got this. Take your time. Look, I need that edible. Was it? Hey, can I just ask a quick question? Was it a pastry or was it candy?
Right
no, I didn't know I was gonna get this high. It was a candy. It was two candies for $5, and I just had one. I didn't think one would get me this high.
I am so jealous.
I smoke a lot of weed, and I usually never get this high for just an edible.
I am so jealous right now.
Hey, Avi'yam, look. I got some candies upstairs too. I usually take 2, but one got you there. How many milligrams was that?
I'm sending you my
I ain't gonna
address.
lie, it is 500.
So one of them was 500. G, what?
It was it's $5 and it has 2 of them in there, and it's a 1,000 in total.
Ooh.
She got a plug. I need
No, it's just
me a birthday
all
gift.
of these dispensaries. There's a lot of tobacco stores out here in the south suburbs.
Oh, so
Did
I drove
liquor
all the way to
stores.
Michigan for mine.
What?
Yeah, I drove to Michigan.
Avi'yam, I'm sending you my address. Just mail me a nice little birthday package. You understand?
Your birthday is coming up.
My birthday coming up
Ooh,
too.
wee.
Yeah, both of y'all birthdays.
I want that 500 milligram. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah, what are
You
you
can
doing
go
for
to the
your-
liquor store. They got all types of edibles where it might be $2. You can get $5 and it'll just be some edibles that get you real high. It might have 500 milligrams. Some might be 1,000.
That's crazy. You would never find out in New York. And if you do, they charging you some serious money.
Yep. You know, New York will charge you for breathing air. Shit. and LA. Look, both of them damn cities.
Yeah, Chicago, I love my city.
So I just want to talk about some of the transits. I just want to regurgitate them. I'm going to say them out loud, and Avi'yam, because I'm going to help you out. If you want to go dive deeper into some of these transits that I'm going to speak on, you can. So we have Mercury in Capricorn, and Mercury enters Aquarius on January 27th. And then we have Venus in Pisces, and it enters into Aries February 4th. And then we have Mars in Cancer. We talked about that goes station on February 23rd. So we in retrograde until the end of February. And then we have Jupiter that's still in retrograde in Gemini, and it goes direct February 4th. So we got 2 placements. So we got Venus entering into Aries, and then we got Jupiter going direct on the 4th. And then we have Saturn in Pisces. Saturn enters Aries May 24th. And then we have Uranus. Then we have Uranus that is also in retrograde in Taurus. Uranus goes station direct in Taurus on the 30th of this year. So it's been in retrograde. So we not only do we have Mars retrograding, we have Jupiter and Uranus retrograding. And then Neptune is in Pisces, and it will enter into Aries March 30th. And then we have Pluto in Aquarius, and it'll go retrograde on May 4th. And then we have Chiron in Aries, and it'll go station on the 30th of July because it's also in retrograde. So out of all of those transits, do you want to dive deep into any of those, Avi'yam?
Whoa. That was a lot.
So can I make a suggestion?
Or do you have any questions? Yeah.
Can I ask to go a little bit more into the North Node shifting into Pisces and the South Node shifting into Virgo, and how that's going to be affecting us as a people? What should we look forward to, and what's the energy coming?
One thing I think we should also think about is, like, I know we're referencing about the North Node being Pisces, but also South Node is Virgo. That's both going on at the same time. So we had to
Mhm.
acknowledge that both is going on at the same time, just like
Yep.
how we had to do prior with the North Node
Duality.
being in Aries and the South Node being in Libra, and how a lot of things that went down on relationships was a lot of unfinished business that a lot of people's souls had to complete and wrap up. Whether it had been with the relationship you have with yourself, it could be the relationship you have with money, it could be the relationship that you have with partners, anything regarding partnerships as a whole, you know, and that goes outside of just romantic relationships, you
Yep.
know. And
So
now,
that's
like
why we
from
saw a lot of
Virgo,
divorces. That's why we saw a lot of splits and divorces in the past year.
yeah,
Um, that's
yeah,
why we saw that, because I talked about that in one of the lives. It's that we are versus I am, or I am versus we
mhm.
are. And what do you think the affirmation would be for Pisces and Virgo if I am versus we are, which is the Aries and the Libra axis? What do you think the affirmations for Pisces and Virgo? Is it I see and I do, or is it
Oh,
what
I
would you?
thought it would have been I feel and I do,
I feel and I
or
do.
I feel and I
Okay, got
serve.
you. Or yep, I feel and I serve or do. Okay, got you. So with
Those
that
Okay.
in those
perspective,
areas. But like I was saying, I was just using how we just shifted about from the Libra South Node. Right now we're Virgo. Now something I think everyone should be aware of is like all of the things that involve Virgo energy in the devolved space, or the you got to think of the negative, because you know we have the evolved and you can have an evolved Virgo, you can have a devolved Virgo, you know. So the thing is when it comes to the dark sides of Virgo energy, you got to think of illnesses, you got to think of sicknesses, and that this might be a good time for people to pay attention to their health right now. And it might be their
I got a
mental
Virgo
health,
right
it might
now.
be their physical health, it might be all, you know, there's different types of health that we have. You know, I think it's a good time for people to really check in with their wellness. You know,
That's it.
that's something I think is really important, because like we were because we were just you two were going I forgot what you two were ping pong a little while ago, and I said it was kind of like the axis that we were just talking about, because I remember you were talking about tarot readers, while and information and getting information from spirit, which is very Piscean, you know,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
while I was referencing what's
Practicality
very
versus
Virgo,
spirituality.
earth, earth and information from the earth,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
I did a reading for myself, and that card in my Moonology that came out. It was the Virgo card and the Pisces card that came out. And the Pisces card was like you need to balance practicality versus spirituality. And I think that is so big. I think what it's going to reveal is a lot of people even, and maybe this is a question for you, Ra.
You're welcome, William.
Maybe this is a question for you, Ra, because I'm in a student seat right now. I'm learning. Okay.
Okay.
Um. Well, okay. What was my question? How do you feel about that balance within yourself as you have grown as a Pisces? And Rain, I also want you to answer this question too. I
Okay.
want both of y'all to answer this question.
You're a
I know
Virgo, right,
we're
Rain?
not interviewing, but I want to know for the perspective, because in real time we got Pisces and Virgo, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if y'all speak from y'all perspective in a way of y'all journey, maybe that can also be very revealing and telling of what we can see and what's to come
Okay.
from y'all's experiences alone and where y'all are vulnerably.
Okay. I can speak. I'll speak very transparently as far as balance for me. I serve all parts of me, and let me explain what that looks like. Coming up, serving all parts of me was church time, time with family, my school life. And school life kind of transferred as an adult, like career life, because I spent my elementary, my high school, even in college and student council as in addition to my regular studies. So that took up a lot of my time. And then outside of that, my social life. I believe that in everything that I did, I needed to have a healthy social life. So now growing up, coming into myself as a practitioner, starting to do work for people, it shifted a little bit, but not so much in as far as what that balance looked like. Again, social life, paired into also my spiritual work, because outside of working in a shop, you guys know I would have my little hangouts at home or whatever. And then outside of that, I would have my me time where I didn't want to be bothered with anybody. Time for quietness, time for restoration, time for being in nature. I was very big and still am very big on time in nature. Even to this day, I walk out of my house barefooted. I walk in the grass. I go walk on the rocks. I walk down the block with no shoes on, to be in the elements. Back in Chicago, I was very big on going to the lakefront. That was my sacred space every day, even in the wintertime. And so, no matter where I am, those components have to manifest for me to feel balanced. Element for my spiritual edification, that's church or ceremonies or prayers or voodoo something, that feeds my spirit. Also time and space for my social life, my friends, my made family, those that I've made a part of my family. Also a space and time for my actual family. And then aside from that, time for me, which is nobody but me, whether that's resting, whether that's watching Netflix by myself, whether that's, and even in the midst of the me time, nature is going to be included in that, whether it's at a park, by the water, walking outside, sitting on the porch and smoking my J, you know, all of that is all encompassed. But know that if something is not in motion and something is off, if the social life is off, I feel imbalanced. If the spiritual edification is off, I feel imbalanced. If something is off within my family dynamics, which I feel off. And so when you spoke about the growth with the healing with the inner child and the mother situation, I actually have initiated progressive steps and making that shift happen with me and my mother. And this has been within the past 2 weeks, and so I'm glad that I'm in alignment with that, and then aside from that, having a solid social life, and so that's how I feel whole. That's how I feel whole. And if something is not equally handled or done, I feel off. And I genuinely feel very off, and it's not a good space to be in. And now my old self versus now, that space would be week to two to maybe three, maybe a month, depending upon the situation. To now, that space is maybe a day, and if it's 2 days, I'm really in a space, but it will never make it to 3 days, of feeling that off before I get myself back and balanced.
You know what? You said something that was a theme, and everything you said, I feel, I feel, I feel. And that is what, I feel like you were feeling your way through the process. And that's something that sometimes, and I want to hear from Rain, because I know she's a Virgo, but she has other placements and she is that
Mhm.
different. She's a complex soul. Yet the experiences that I've had with Virgos on the opposite side of the spectrum is always, what do I have to do? What do I have to do? What do I have to do? So, Rain, what has been your experience on the other side of the spectrum? I can't hear. We can't hear you. Okay.
Sorry, ask the original question again.
So I just wanted to know from the perspective of Barbara and you, from the Pisces perspective and the Virgo perspective, how, based off just sharing your experiences through your growth in life and where you are coming into this year, what have you been experiencing? And I'm saying, maybe saying that out loud can physically manifest what that idea of the Virgo and the Pisces energy is going to look like throughout the year. So we got Ra's perspective. What about yours? Where are you now into this year, going into this North Node year? And actually on the 11th of January is when the nodes switched.
So for me, it has been about letting go of the illusion of control. Because as a
Mm-hmm.
Virgo, I am very neurotic. Like I always feel like I need to be doing something, I need to be planning something, I need to be strategizing something, I
Mm-hmm.
need to have the solution for it all. I need to predict the problem before it happens
Mm-hmm.
and solve it before it gets here. And when I find myself, or when I used to find myself in a space of not having a solution,
or not being able to predict what's going to happen. Because as Virgos, people don't really give us credit for being extremely intuitive, but like our third eye be so on point because it's backed up by genuine observations. I tell people all the time, if I tell you something about yourself, trust me, it's the truth because I watched you for a very long time before I even said anything or made an analysis about it. So if I'm talking about growth and understanding that energy, if I'm being real with myself, it's being able to surrender into more so faith than having to be able to see it. And I guess that would be the more Piscean energy of like just going by faith and trusting in God and trusting in spirit. I tell people, as spiritual as I am, I don't really trust in God. I trust in myself because I know Shanique is going to handle it. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to come up with a solution. But I've been more so shifting on like, okay, I say I have faith in a supreme being. I say I believe in something greater and grander than myself. So it's been more of understanding of relaxing in that trust. That even if I can't figure it out, the universe is working in divine alignment to figure it out for me. So if I had to think about that access and the shift in the nodes and how that shift from that neurotic, very Virgo energy of like organization, structure, discipline, because Virgos and Capricorns, I feel are like the same people.
I'm so glad you don't even know, Rain. I literally been like in a group with an Aries, a Virgo, and a Capricorn, and me and the Aries are here. But that Virgo and that Capricorn, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm a Virgo moon, and I see the shadows of a Virgo, and it drives me nuts because I love y'all, and I be wanting to be like my Sag energy, and I don't know if you've noticed, but my energy been showing up in my Sag energy been showing up in Virgo readings a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's us being the fire underneath y'all behind or whatever that looks like, but also being understanding to you guys' process as well too, because we have to learn patience. And one thing that we learn from y'all, because we are very similar, that Virgo and that Sag, we like that organization. We love to do and fix. Yet it's one of them things where, yeah, sometimes you need to have faith, because when you're worried about something, you're just constantly doing. You're not giving sacred reverence to all the things around you that are also coming together. So I like to call Virgo silent Leos.
Yes.
You guys are silent Leos. Y'all do all the things because y'all want the validation and the credibility. Yet sometimes y'all ain't even got to do all that to be seen. A lot of times y'all poise, you being the quietest person in the room, you being the observant person in the room. And when somebody is asking like, hey, what's on your mind, is when it's actually more valuable versus when you give unsolicited judgment or criticism, because it's all about how a person, are they even in the space to receive? Because you can have all the right answers, you can have all the information, you can even have the cure to somebody's disease who dying. But if they ain't in the space to receive it, it'll fuck you up in your head because you feel like you can't fix it when it's really not your issue to fix.
I think I don't really, for me personally, I don't really identify, and all my friends will know it's a running joke. I say I'm really a Libra, but I've been more so realizing where my Virgo traits show up. Like if I can see a way how to make you better, my initial response is to tell you like, hey, this is what you can do. Now in certain situations that works out because people are receptive and they value my opinion. What I have had to learn is that not everyone needs to know what you think.
Don't cast
Now,
don't swatch cast
And
your
also,
pearls
just
swine.
adding on to like earlier when Fallon was saying that oftentimes Virgo can be I do, Virgo can also be I think, because
yeah.
Virgo is also Mercury as well, just as much as Gemini. A Virgo can be just as much in their head as much as a Gemini. Like there's a lot of similarities between Virgos and Geminis when you really
If
pay
not
attention. A lot of
more.
comedians are Virgos and Geminis. A lot of authors are Virgos and like Robert Greene, for example. He's a
Dave
Virgo. Jordan
Chappelle.
Peterson is somebody who's also renowned for his books and his psychology is a Gemini, like two Mercurials, So the thing is that Mercury That's it's the planet that spins the fastest around the sun. You guys are very quick mind, very
Especially when
sharp,
y'all
very
write.
witty.
Are you
That's why
Rain?
a lot of Virgos are really, Virgos as well as Geminis have such a great sense of humor, because it takes intelligence to be that funny and connect all of those dots. But also, did you say
No,
you're
I was
muted
just
if you
gonna
said
ask
something, Ross?
Rain, do
Oh.
she resonate with scribing? Do you resonate with writing?
Oh, I write all the time.
That
Hey,
is
that's what
your
I
I
just said. Fuck. I
so
just said
so
that's what makes her a good
Virgos, so
scribe.
Virgos are the scribers in communication, and Geminis are more of the verbal speakers. So, like a Dave Chappelle, I'm pretty sure Cat Williams, they write their joke. That's what makes them great as Virgos. Because, like Avi'yam said, they make great comedians. But you got the Geminis, not to say that they don't write either, but they know how to regurgitate that out of their
And there's
mouth.
a lot of rappers that are Geminis and have Gemini placements.
Andre 3000, Tupac, Maxwell, Lauryn Hill, Busta Rhymes. I'm talking about the greats. Okay, Biggie.
Michael Jackson and Prince are another example. Michael Jackson was a Virgo. Prince was a Gemini.
No, but do you know the astrological connection between them two? You know, both of them have Pisces moons.
That's not a surprise.
So Prince is
They
a
have
Gemini. So Prince is a Gemini with a Pisces moon, and Michael Jackson is a Virgo with a Pisces moon. They're literally the same person. Gee, it's crazy.
Yeah, they're communicating from the heavens. That's what they did.
I always say, like, for me personally, I may not always have the right words to communicate what I want to think, what I'm thinking within my head. I think with Virgos, because our thought process is already going like 20,000 miles an hour, sometimes when I'm trying to communicate one thought, I automatically assume that the person already saw it the way I saw it and viewed it the way I viewed it. So I'm having a conversation that's like 10 steps ahead. And I've had to learn, like, no, Shanique, slow down your thoughts and communicate what you are actually thinking. I feel like Geminis have a better grasp on, like,
pinpointing what to say to
say,
penetrate.
Oh yeah.
Whereas
but then
Virgo,
Gemini
like,
is a masculine sign, while Virgo is feminine, it's more introverted.
So
they
it's
more.
So Virgos actually, they speak with their actions and their work ethic. Like, I'm learning that as a Virgo moon, I'm learning that it's best that I just stop explaining myself to people. The only thing I need to be speaking on is the consent. Are you okay with me caring for you in this way? Are you okay with me saying this? I have some feedback. I've learned to practice consent and making sure that people are in the right space before I share that information, and have discernment, because some people are just not in a space to receive what it is and what I'm trying to share with them. So it takes a lot of discernment on the other side of that. And I can resonate with you too, Rain, with that. You in your brain, like, especially as a Sag, just like I see the bigger picture. Yet what's being regurgitated to people, I'm either dealing with some people who either have a selective, and sometimes I probably need them to have a little selection, because some people mistake my passion as anger a lot of times. So that turns them off from even listening to the information. But I'm a passionate person. So a person who understands passion and sometimes need that level of passion in order for it to penetrate. But Virgos, like talking to Virgos sometimes, I've learned, you guys have taught me to process my feelings first, process how I feel, and filter out, and then get to the root of what it is that I have to say. And then once I do that part, then that is when I can be more clear, and they can actually do the action that I'm actually expressing for them to do at that
and
time.
I feel like with Virgos, there's a lot of times with our communication, it comes off as robotic, because we don't really, like, we don't get too much into the feelings of things. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, for me, I'd be like, if I said something, it's because it is what it is, and
Yes.
I don't take into consideration all the emotional processings that go into communication. And that sometimes, they say Virgos are cold or rude or mean. And that's not what it is for me. For me, it's like, this is just what it is.
It's
So I'm
interesting you say
communicating.
that. I want to know. I need some insight because recently, someone said that I was cold, and I find myself to be a rather kind person, direct at times. Um, but I don't think I'm a cold person. But is that a trait that could? I don't know. You guys know my chart. I don't know. You guys know me for a long time. How could that come across? And with my sign, the Pisces moon and sun
It's
and
your
Aquarius
Mercury
rising.
that talks about how you communicate. What's your
Okay.
Mercury sign, Rain?
Oh, let me. I had to
Oh, my
check.
Mercury, I'm a Libra Mercury. So when I talk to you, depending on what the situation is, like if I'm talking to a man, for instance, right? It automatically comes off like I'm flirting, and it's not really my intention.
That's that Libra energy.
It's just it just comes out. Now, if I'm having a conversation with like a person, like I had to have a conversation tonight. I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and I was like, "Mom, Shanique, older sister Shanique, and friend Shanique are three different people, and how I communicate from those different places will give you a different message." So I think the Libra in me is always aware of every side and every perspective of a situation and how to touch the situation. But I often struggle with the Virgo part of me where it's just like, it just kind of is what it is. And I don't understand why there needs to be all this fluff around it.
Uh, I'll be able to answer your question really good in a quick second because I can look up your chart and just see what's all influencing your Mercury real quick. You might have Lilith on your Mercury for all you know.
Mm. And I'm a Lilith. My Lilith is also in Libra. And like I did debate and model UN and all these types of like communication things in high school. So like
Mm-hmm.
I find that like I've tried to master efficient communication, but I don't always think I'm successful.
When's your birthday?
September 2nd,
September
1989.
2nd.
1989, yes.
My Mercury is in Aquarius.
In what house?
Oh,
Mm.
um, Aquarius is my first ascendant. Oh no, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold up. No, no, no.
Rain, you said
No, no,
what?
hold up. Oh shit.
I'm sorry, what did you ask me?
All right. What time were you born?
9:45 p.m.
And where?
Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago.
You were born where?
Port of Spain, Trinidad and
Oh,
Tobago
Port.
of Spain.
Oh, Trinidad.
Yes.
Okay. Go all the way down on here. Okay, so you're a Virgo sun, a Libra moon. Okay, you got sun in the fifth house. Your Mercury is in the fifth house, and the fifth house does correspond to the zodiac sign of Leo. And when it comes to matters involving the fifth house, that can also involve like matters of romance and matters of dating. And your Mercury has a lot of activity going around there because that's where it's housed. So if your birth chart was a big mansion or something like that, just for an example, each house that I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying is like a different room with a whole different vibe and a whole different activity going on, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And your fifth house would be like the the room where it talks about dating, fun, the stage, being seen, all things involving Leo, all things involving the sun. And then depending on the zodiac sign it's in, that'll kind of be what is we'll say like the inside colors of the room.
Okay. And that's why I feel like sometimes I come across so flirty because that Leo, Libra kind of
Yeah, Libra.
energy.
Yeah, and it's at the 7th degree, and that's a Libra degree. But also, even though you see yourself as coming across as flirty, which can be an influence of because of Libra and as well as the 5th house, you should also think about how you can come across as a great diplomat as well. How you might be very good at being able to ease a lot of negative situations. That could be a gift of yours right there. That's how you could probably use that Venusian charm and influence on your Mercury to, be that person that when something was going to go pop off, you were able to calm the situation. You were able to bring peace to the storm. You can probably use it to support other people. You can probably use it to help. You also have that Virgo sun. So, use it to when you see people improving, instead of being critical, try to be more celebratory, try to be more empowering than critical. Instead of saying you should do this, you should do this, say you would be really great if you did that. Hey,
I'll
I
try
think I
that.
know a way that might be really easier for you if you want me to help you. Instead of saying no, let me show you, just to say it in a way where a person can feel like, oh, this person's celebrating me, they're empowering me, not they're degrading me and telling me like and talking like I haven't already thought of that. Yeah, so I was just trying to look at where your Mercury was placed really quick before I even got into the aspects, honestly. So right now, just now let me go back to where your Mercury is. Good Lord. Okay, you got Mercury conjunct Moon, Mercury square Jupiter, Mercury square Saturn, Mercury square Uranus, Mercury square Neptune. Yeah, the Mercury square Jupiter and the Mercury square Saturn is the toughest the tightest aspects, and the trine is tight too. Do you work in a field where it involves communications at all?
Who, me?
Yeah, do you work with communications or do you
So
happen to no?
I'm a nanny. So
You're a
I work
nanny
with communicating with kids.
with kids? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that is communications. Okay. And you don't do anything with I'm trying to think how this might apply to some of your career. But the trines at 2 degrees. All right, you got
So
Mercury
like
aspect. All right, conjunct your moon. You said you
I
work with
think
the elderly. That
no,
makes sense with the conjuncting your moon, huh?
I think spiritually, like where that communication aspect come in is like technically I'm an evangelist. So, communicating through using word and the power of words to reach people and draw people in, I can see how that would, be a skillful tool to have that type of like Libra Mercury type of energy.
Yeah, and you have a Libra moon.
Hmm.
And it's saying your Mercury is conjuncting your moon. The thing is that energy is heavily amplified, and that makes sense because you're working and you're communicating a lot with the elderly. Is it elderly women or is it just elderly as a whole? Because
No,
Talon
I
referenced
just take
elderly
I take I take care of children.
children. Oh,
Hmm.
so you're mothering children
Hmm.
because it does go into mothering and it does go into nurturing because it can involve nurturing and mothering elderly or whoever when it comes to the moon because it's all about nurturing, supporting, mothering, and caretaking. Does that make
I
sense?
definitely, I definitely feel like
Does
that's
that make
been my
sense,
life.
Rod? I thought you looked a little confused.
Oh no, 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 no. Yeah, no, it does make sense. Yeah,
Oh,
no, it does make sense. I'm listening. And um I was receiving and processing that and some other stuff at the same time. So I'm seeing in because I was listening to you talk about the conjunctions and all that. So I was like having questions. Like my mind was getting little spot notes because those are terminologies I don't really know what they mean.
oh,
Yeah, that's all. But no, what you were saying regarding Rain is spot on. Rain is a nanny. She's been a nanny for all of her career, and she's really
Hmm.
good at that. And so when you talk about mothering, she has, if she go down the list, she's raised so many children, and still is, and her journey is still going. So I think you gave some great advice. I'm also interested. I send you a screenshot of my chart so that you can give me some insight too. Because like when she had mentioned, like some people saying that she can come across as cold. Um, a few, not many individuals told me that, but a few people told me that. And the first time hearing it, I took offense. But most recent hearing it, I'm like, okay, well, let me look at myself and see, okay, what aspects of me, that could be coming from, or what do I need to be more observant about? Because I don't see myself as a cold person, but I'm always open to be observant of things I may not be aware of. So I'll send you a screenshot. Check your text messages. Let me know if you got it. I'll also.
Yeah. Do you have? Can you also send one that has your the aspects, if you so I can see
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
aspect? Because
I got you. I got you. 1 second.
well, oh
So
yeah, I
Ricky,
think
I
that's what
wanted
you referenced about, because I looked at other aspects of your chart and we talked about other things, Rain. But just getting back to why you may come across as harsh, it could be that Mercury squaring your Saturn, because you got to think when it comes to Saturn, Saturn is a very strict planet. It rules the father. It's about rules, regulations, father time, serious, the law, just and it's exalted in the sign of Libra.
hmm,
And
so
yeah, and the thing is, it's like when it's squaring, that means those planets, they're kind of tough. It's kind of like when squares are going
here,
amongst planets, that means those planets energy, those planetary energies, that they're kind of like fighting each other. They're
each
not
other.
necessarily in harmony. That's
Okay,
what it kind of means when you have a square. So the Mercury energy of Libra is squaring your Saturn energy. And the Saturn and your Saturn is in what? Your Saturn is in Capricorn. They're both
Capricorn.
cardinal signs and they're both about leadership. And it's about how people go about like how they want to get things done. Like cardinal energy is all about like that go-getter. Like Aries represents that in fire. Cancer represents that in water. Libra represents that in air. That's why a lot of people, like for example, Nat Turner is a perfect example of a cardinal Libra who was operating from a highly evolved space, someone that was being in cardinal energy and initiative energy. Although Libra does talk about partnership, it balances off with Aries, which is about the I am, like Fallon said, which is about the self. He had that perfect balance of I am and the self, and he had that also that balance of partnership, because you have to understand both to get the value of both. You can't be in any type of healthy partnership if you're only thinking about one side. And if that one
That's
side,
so
the
true.
other party side, and you're neglecting you, that's not a fair partnership. you
That's
know
so very
so the
true.
thing is that Libra energy is just about being a go-getter in multiple ways, just like any other sign. And that now that's squaring with your Capricorn, which is an earth sign. I mean, not your Saturn, which is in Capricorn, which is of course an earth sign, which goes about things like you said, how Virgo and Capricorn go about things. That Virgo energy and that Capricorn
Hmm.
energy and even Taurus energy, earth signs, you guys are the planners. When it comes to being creative, the best way that you guys create, it may not be with the colors that people see on television, but it can easily be with matters of the earth, with building something great, building a business, building something where you guys are able to reap harvest and reap fruits. And sometimes those fruits can look like having a job where it pays you very well, where you work for yourself, or a lot of times it can look like having a job where it's just a lot of passive income coming to you. It can come in so many different ways when it comes to how you're going to manifest and create something that brings you a lot of income or fruits. And right now with you having Mercury squaring that Saturn, it can also talk about something when it comes to communications. Are you communicating well with people that you work with? Are you communicating well with people that you have certain types of partnerships and dealings with? When it comes to people and things involving the law, and things involving Saturn like things, where it be involving talking to people that work in corporate. Like let's say it's a certain business person that wants to talk to you. Let's say you have to get on the phone and have to handle something, a dispute with a representative. Are you handling that well? You know, are you letting them walk all over you because of that Libra influence on your Mercury, or are you standing your ground and being firm and letting that Saturn energy do you right?
So I
Because
think a lot of times
that's just one aspect.
I lean way more into the Libra aspect of things. Like if it comes to like advocating for myself, I am not the best person. advocating for others though comes very easily for me. But to say like if I had to go get on the phone with like a customer service person, I probably wouldn't be the best person to, like handle that task and stuff like that. I'm like my communication when it comes to getting certain points across is very clear, but in other areas it's very shoddy.
Mm.
And it more so comes to like when it has to do with like authoritative things and like practical day-to-day things. I don't know if that's like more so because of my chart or just because of my ADHD, but either way, it's not my strong suit.
Mm.
Did you get the aspects there?
Yeah, I just got yours. Yeah, I
Okay.
just got yours, and I wanted to just ask Rain. So, did everything that I said, did any of that feel accurate, or?
No, it felt like when you started talking, it felt completely spot on, especially when you started talking about my Libra moon and the conjunction there and how it deals with like nurturing. It's a running joke with them, like spiritually, they'd be like, "Oh, you a mother," and I'd be like, "Oh no," but like I'm like it's my first nature,
She's a
like
big
my
mother.
like when I like without thinking about it, like I want to take care of everyone. I want to make sure everybody's okay. So like when you said like talked about that moon aspect and how Libra affects it and stuff, like you were completely spot on. Like that's me as a person in whole.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Now let me take a look at Ra, because I honestly don't think he comes across as harsh. Because, well, I mean, anybody. I mean, people have their own interpretations, but let's see.
So like for me, without looking at his chart and just being his friend, I would say like because you're so this is what it is kind of person, and sometimes you know just in communication, I think you're very, like I told you, tone and stuff like that. It's just like monochrome. So people may interpret like you just saying that, hey, this is the facts and this is how the facts is related. And because you don't have a lot of expression in your tone, it may come
Mm-hmm.
across as cold to somebody who don't know how to interpret you, you know, because they don't know you well enough to say, well, no, he's really warm and fuzzy because you're just always in this like teacher mode of like, this is what it is, and this is how it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be done, and this is what I expect for you to do, so that kind of, I wouldn't say cold because you're not a cold person, but you're just very direct in your communication.
Mm-hmm. And Avi and Fallon
You
have
are
been knowing me
direct.
since the
Yeah.
very yeah. I would say Avi and Fallon's been knowing me since the very beginning of my practitioner life. That's what say, but that's true. That is a fact. I actually gotten stronger with that. That's a clear fact. I try to like eliminate any gray areas. Like no room for elusiveness. Like you know, I don't know. Gray areas can be confusing to me. But I'm reading over these aspects and I'm like, okay, this is rather interesting. Not that understand any of it. I don't understand a damn thing, but I'm just seeing the order of it.
All right. I'm about to look yours up on Astro.com.
Okay, okay.
Oh, it's 2/20/96.
Mm-hmm. Hey, don't be giving my birthday out on loud. Mute your mic. I have haters out here and people that don't
Hey,
like
Ra.
me.
Well, I'm
Yes, darling.
investigating your chart real quick. I
Yes,
don't know if
darling.
you. Oh, you were born in Oak Park. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'm investigating your chart real quick. I don't know if you've been on social media a lot recently,
Mhm.
but have you been hearing about all this talk of people talking about the evil eye on Instagram and stuff?
Let me be very frank. No. And why I say no is that way because I don't spend a lot of time surfing social media. Like I get on Facebook to just scroll, but mostly to promote and share my posts, or communicate with my students via Messenger. I don't really have time to sit up and surf because I'm trying to work on content or do editing because I don't pay anybody to do my own promotions or media stuff. I do it for myself, and being that that's not my expertise, it takes me a little while. So I say all that to say, I don't be knowing what's going on. Typically, like my god children will send me something, or my god sisters will send me something, and I'll laugh at it. They'll send it to right to my inbox. It's not anything that I'll typically find. Um, so I don't really know what's going on TikTok. I don't even really know what's going on the news. Like somebody just had to tell me just yesterday when the inauguration is, and you might laugh at that, but like I got other things to be worried about. If there's evil eye on TikTok, protect yourself. I don't know, or any of that. It's evil eye everywhere. You're encountering evil eye going to the gas station. You're encountering evil eye going to the grocery store. You encounter evil eye everywhere, at work, at school, everywhere. You can't escape it. You know, cleanse yourself, protect yourself, cover yourself. It's not a big thing, you know, but it's out there.
Hmm. Yeah, it was just something that I've been hearing a lot of people on social media on all these, yeah. But anyway, let's
Hmm.
get into Mercury.
Okay.
Because I was just thinking your Mercury is in the 12th house. So that makes me think, well, that's really two things. Okay, one, that makes me think because the 12th house is corresponded to the sign Pisces. And the 12th house activity with your Mercury, the planet of your communication being in there, it can be very deep into 12th house matters, which can involve, spirituality, which is something that you do. You communicate with spirit, you're able to communicate with spirits, and your Mercury is in that place, is in that household, or you're able to communicate with the unseen,
Hmm. Makes sense.
you know. Yeah, and that also tells me that there are times that people may not be able to make out what you're saying to them sometimes. Where
That
some
is a
people, where
reality.
you'll be where no matter how direct you will be, it just seems some people just won't get where you're coming from. Because that can be a challenge with having Mercury in the 12th house. Sometimes it's people not always understanding you.
Hmm. That's a
You know,
fact.
like for example, my Mercury is in the 6th house. That's the whole axis. I always feel when I communicate, I have to communicate like I'm reporting it in a Roman numeral structure all the time to make sure people get where I'm coming from, or with analogies. Like having Mercury in the 12th house, I mean, your Mercury sign is in Aquarius. And oftentimes people, like my Mercury's in Aquarius as well, you should be, well, from what I'm assuming, when it comes down to it, I feel like you're probably really excellent when it comes to doing a lot of research.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like I'm pretty sure you're good at doing extensive research. You're good at doing deep dives, and a lot of people with Mercury and Aquarius usually we're blessed with that gift of being able to remember damn near everything we read.
Yeah. It is that is I call it a blessing and a curse because as I've evolved and as I continue to evolve, I'm learning to speak less because I know that oftentimes people cannot understand what I'm saying. And that is and now you gave me clarity as to why. It's something I always known, but you've put words to it, and it's like that's my reality. If you're not at a certain vibration, a lot of times you may not understand what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and even as clear as I'm coming. And so, kind of going back to like the statement you made earlier, not casting your pearls to swine, not saying that everybody is swine or like I'm casting to swine. I've had to just become wiser with how I deliver, and even sometimes just be quiet because it's not needed. Someone else could convey the matter at hand. So I just sit. I've learned to just be chill. So that makes sense. That makes sense. That
Hmm.
makes sense. Flow like the water.
And
Hmm.
also, you are a Mercury Pluto person. You have Mercury sextile Pluto. I
Hmm.
actually I'm a Mercury Pluto person as well, so I also can identify with it. But mine is kind of on a harsher end. Yours is
Mm.
actually going by really well. Your Mercury energy is sextiling your Pluto energy, which means they're in good harmony and they're in good flow. And the thing is I'm pretty sure when it comes to research, I'm pretty sure if you wanted to find out about any motherfucker, I'm pretty sure you can find that information out like that. Because the thing is, when you're a Mercury Pluto person, you don't even try and the information comes to you. You could be on the phone with someone, and then you're the type that probably, like, when they're having background conversations, you're already listening to everything that background conversation is. If somebody was trying to, let's say, you meet someone, they might be trying to show you things about themselves, or, just give you information and insight, you're going to remember absolutely everything they said, even when they may have forgotten, where, because everything is data, everything is information.
Yes, yes. I always say this computer and this library of mine. I always make the reference to my Ori, like it's a computer and a library. And it's facts. Wow, damn, Avi'yam, you and Fallon is no joke. I swear, y'all ain't easy. Mm, y'all ain't easy. Wow.
And then I was thinking about this Pisces North Node, with
Mm-hmm.
the collective currently shifting into Pisces, towards Piscean themes, and that is the Piscean themes that we need to really focus towards. Sometimes I wonder, does that mean that we're all does it look like a lot of the collective going towards spirituality? Or does it look like the collective going back to Christianity? Because I noticed that certain people, they, I've been seeing certain
I look
people.
okay. I like that you mentioned that. We're gonna have to have a part two conversation. I think this is gonna be our next conversation for next week. Because you bridge into some topics that I already want to bring about.
Yeah.
Regarding the everyday, magical practice and things like that. I'm going to touch on Christian Gnosticism, which goes into the earlier church, the first church, the earlier states of the church, and mysticism, things that they did. And so, whether people are waking up more to spirituality or people are going back to Christianity or the church, quote unquote, they are going back to the church with a more spiritual application,
Mm.
or universal application. And so, that's something I definitely want to talk about. So, we're not going to deep dive into that tonight because we've hit on 2 hours and 14 minutes. Um,
Yes.
it's
And
been
I
a
got work
long
in the
night.
morning.
Yeah, it's been a long night. It's been a beautiful night. So next week, if you guys are open, we're going to come back and cover that because I think that's a beautiful topic as a precursor to the 2 episodes I have lined up regarding, everyday magic and rituals and things like that, which is for Christian devotees, Kabbalistic practitioners, root workers, conjurers, all that. So it's going to be fun.
Okay. Hmm.
Yes.
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 Well, I love you guys. It's been great. You all have a beautiful evening. Rest well. You guys bless their cash apps. They have their cash apps posted. I'm going to post them in the comments too. I thank you all for viewing. It's been a beautiful night. We don't normally go this long, but it was the new year.
It
So
was
why not?
great.
Yeah, it was great. So I pray that you break it up, go back, listen to it, share with somebody. I know I'm gonna go back and listen to it tomorrow while I'm organizing. But you guys have a beautiful night. I love you all, and may the spirit guide you through your sweet dreams.
Amen. I
Blessings, everybody.